They thought her shaking hands
Sir,
meant weakness.
reporting as
In a
ordered.
yard full of
The exercise
laughter
is ready
and
to
whispered
commence.
jokes, no one noticed the way the senior officers went silent, until one man in command slowly stood up and raised his hand in a salute that changed everything. Before we dive in, tell us, from which part of the United States are you watching today? Drop your state in the comments, backhand index pointing down. The morning sun beat down on the training ground as a new group of soldiers stood in loose formation, boots sinking slightly into the dust. Among them was a woman most barely noticed at first, not because she stood out, but because she didn't. Her uniform fit perfectly but showed signs of age, the kind earned, not issued yesterday. When she stepped forward to take her assigned rifle, a few soldiers in the back snickered. Her hands trembled as she gripped the weapon, just slightly, but enough to be seen. Someone whispered, "Nerves," and another muttered, "She won't last." The laughter was quiet but cruel, the kind that spreads fast when confidence is low and arrogance is high. The woman heard it all. She always did. She lowered her gaze for a moment, took a breath, and steadied herself, not the rifle, but her memories. Because the shaking didn't come from fear. It came from restraint. As the drill instructor barked orders, the soldiers watched her struggle through the first motions, her timing a fraction off, her movements rigid. More smirks followed. No one noticed the observation platform at the far end of the field, where a visiting colonel stood with his hands behind his back, eyes narrowed, watching not the formation, but her. Halfway through the drill, the instructor abruptly called for a weapons inspection and asked her to demonstrate proper clearing procedure. The laughter returned, louder now, as she stepped forward. Her fingers shook again, visibly this time, and a few soldiers shook their heads in embarrassment for her. Then something unexpected happened. Instead of rushing, she slowed down. Each movement became deliberate, precise, almost ceremonial. The trembling didn't stop, but the control did not break. The rifle was cleared flawlessly. Silent. Safe. Perfect. The drill instructor hesitated, thrown off, then nodded and ordered the next sequence. That was when one soldier mocked under his breath, "Guess miracles do happen." The woman didn't react. She only adjusted her stance, eyes forward, posture straighter than before. Then the colonel moved. Chairs scraped softly as he stepped down from the platform, walking across the dirt toward the formation. Conversations died instantly. The instructor snapped to attention, confused. The colonel stopped directly in front of the woman. Up close, the soldiers could see her face clearly now. Calm, weathered, eyes that carried too much history to belong to someone untested. The colonel studied her name patch, then her hands, still trembling. For a long second, no one breathed. Then, slowly, deliberately, the colonel straightened his back and raised his hand in a sharp, unmistakable salute. Gasps rippled through the formation. The instructor froze. The laughter vanished like it had never existed. The woman's eyes widened, not in surprise, but recognition. She returned the salute with perfect form, her shaking hands steady for the first time all morning. The colonel lowered his hand and spoke, his voice calm but carrying across the field. He addressed the formation, not her. He told them those hands had once pulled survivors from burning vehicles, had held pressure on wounds under fire, had steadied a radio while coordinating evacuations when others panicked. He explained the tremor was not weakness, but the cost of years spent doing what most never would. The soldiers stood stunned as the truth settled in. This wasn't a recruit struggling on her first day. This was someone who had already given more than they had even begun to understand. The colonel turned back to her and thanked her for returning to train the next generation, for choosing patience over pride. As he walked away, the instructor cleared his throat and resumed the drill, but the energy had shifted. The same soldiers who laughed now watched her with quiet respect. Some avoided her eyes. Others studied her movements closely, eager to learn. By the end of the day, when her hands shook again from exhaustion, no one laughed. They understood now that strength doesn't always look loud, steady, or impressive at first glance. Sometimes it trembles, sometimes it's silent, and sometimes it earns a salute before it earns a word. Natural subscribe request. If stories like this, stories about hidden strength, earned respect, and moments that change everything, move you even a little, then you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel and join a community that believes the strongest stories are the ones you don't see coming.